Welcome to First Impressions. Today I'm talking to Nick, who's a newsletter ad server expert at Passendo, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about what his company does and the importance of monetizing newsletters. Nick, please.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks for taking the time, Rob. So yeah, newsletter expert, and here at Passendo, we offer an ad server, newsletter ad server for publishers to manage their, all their newsletter, ad inventory, internal offers, e-commerce, affiliates, all of that good stuff, to maximize really the revenue that they can see from the newsletters that they're sending on a daily basis. So that's really the core of what we do. We see that there's obviously a number of opportunities out there when it comes to like third-party monetization of newsletters. We think that a lot of publishers might be over-indexing on that a bit, where there are a number of opportunities there when it comes to direct sold ads, whether it's IO or PMP, whether it's e-commerce, or a lot of publishers obviously have subscription products as well, where it comes to what offer are we putting in front of the reader at what point in time, right? And what's the value of that, for example, subscriber versus showing a direct sold ad. And it also comes down to how can we manage all that in a way so that the juice becomes worth the squeeze at the end of the day. So we're not just increasing cost of goods sold by creating these maybe very custom, like maybe native products in our newsletters, to give you an example.
Well, it sounds to me, right, that newsletters have been something that's been propped up as being very important for publishers right now. And yet I think kind of what I'm sensing what you're saying is that it hasn't gotten the attention that it needs and understood the opportunity of what newsletters can do. Can you talk about that piece and really how newsletter, delivering ads and newsletters is also different, right? Something that needs to be understood.
For sure. So I think, at the core of it, if you go into, starting your newsletter program and you want to run some ads on it, you're going to figure out pretty quickly that your standard ad server that you run on your website doesn't work on your newsletter for a number of technical reasons, right? And then what you end up with, or what a lot of publishers do when they go out and then sell ads direct, if they choose to do that, because you have that opt-in reader, you have that contextual, targeting already built in. You start selling ads like you did, or maybe still do on print, right? You have a specific slot for a specific send, and then you have, instead of circulation, you have your opens and clicks that you're getting from your email platform or your ESP, varying quality of that ad data. And when you want to get a campaign reporting, you're sitting there with your spreadsheets, piecing things together. Then maybe you give some share of voice in your newsletter to an audience growth manager or a marketing manager who want to promote their what do they have? Like, they want to grow their audience. They go like, hey, let's put this subscription offer in there. And someone else go like, well, we have this event, so I want to have this event offer in here. And then maybe you have some third-party monetization showing up as well in one place or another, right? And we say, well, so you have all these good things that you want to do. You don't have it under one roof. You have it under a lot of different places. People want to get a piece of that pie. And with the Passendo platform, you could run all of that on the same placements, without having to sacrifice things like, coming back to a workflow where you don't have a separation from the ad ops team and the editorial team, for example. Because oftentimes, who ends up building these, ads and putting them in the newsletter before the send? Well, oftentimes it's the editorial team, whereas with a platform like this, you could book things in advance, and you can get all the reporting in one place, and you can get the campaign follow-up as you expect, both for external advertisers and your internal offers. So there's a number of things that we can do there.
That's really interesting. And that is, you hit on a couple of key things, and I'd love to see a demo. I'd love for you to walk through things, right? But I think, one, there's not one way to sell or monetize newsletters, and there's multiple things you can do with that really super valuable audience, right? So I think you kind of hit on that. That's so key to it. And at the same time, you kind of hit on that editorial piece. The editorial team loves their newsletters. They craft those things, right? And so just slapping ads in is just something that's probably going to get you in more trouble as a operations person than anything else, unless you start to think through what you actually put in there, how this ties the overall goals of the company, right? And then of course things like native ads and things like that can fit in a little bit better. And just I think there's a lot there to think about and a lot of opportunity. So would love to understand a little bit more about how your platform actually works. Can you walk us through it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think you totally agree with you there when it comes to there's a number of different ways of doing this. We're not saying that there's one size fits all, obviously not. But there should be, what we're looking to provide is really a tool that offers a lot of flexibility. So no matter the strategy you might have, we can support that and also enable you to scale that newsletter program without it just taking forever to deliver what you promised to, whether it's your advertisers, the audience growth, the events, whatever you want to put in there. So hope that you should be seeing my screen right now. I hope that's the case.
Yes, that's the case.
That's great. So when you log in, you get this, dashboard overview. We're not going to spend too much time in here, but I want to, give you an idea about how this is structured on our end, and also how we integrate with your existing like ESP or email platform that you're using to send your newsletters today. So I jumped into media. So you can see here, I have my different newsletters. I have my like daily, monthly, and weekly newsletter in here. If I jump into my daily newsletter, I can see the placements that are associated with this newsletter. So in this case, I have 3 placements that are controlled by the Passendo platform. I have a leaderboard, I have 2 native placements, a top placement and a bottom placement. If I jump into my top placement, I can see what campaigns have been running on this placement for the past rolling 30 days. You have some data and some insights right here. But the key thing I want to show you right now is on the edit tab. So what we enable you to do, or publishers to do, is to predefine how ad units should look like in your newsletter, whether it's display or native. But particularly for native, we have a extremely strong tool when it comes to like predefining that whenever I serve an offer in here, whether it's that like a product that I want to promote in our own shop or an external advertiser, we can make something that looks and feels and fits into that email template. So it's not that banner, although we do support display ads as well, but we see like these high impact formats that you can generally sell for a much higher CPM. Now you can deliver them without increasing the time you're spending on building these and delivering this, but this can also be booked in advance. They're going to deliver and they look amazing on both desktop and mobile. And so the way we integrate with your email template is basically you get this tag. Again, we haven't found a single ESP that we can't integrate with. It's a one-time thing. Once this code is in your email template, that placement is controlled through the Passendo platform. And even if you want to do changes to the way your ads look or feel in your newsletter, you don't have to replace the code. Once the code is in there, it's in there and you're good to go. So here's MailChimp, here's my test template. And the way to do this is just take the code block, drop it into your email template, replace with our code, and an ad loads instantaneously, because now it just did an ad call, right, to our ad server, and I happen to have an ad running on that top placement booked in the ad server, right? So that's the integration. Hit save and close, you're done. And from that moment on, Passendo controls that, or you control that space through the Passendo platform. And so that gives you a number of tools with how you can, control these offers, have different levels of tiering where you can, book things, run things as random network, CPM, CPC, still have that sponsorship where someone buys like a top slot for some premium ad dollar, but you have that ability to build your own really strategic revenue model for your newsletters, right? Where you can also have those, e-commerce, affiliate, events, subscription offers, and figure out where they fit in. And they can also bid against each other, like based on how much money they're actually making you on an eCPM in real time. And so the way your day-to-day, right? So your day-to-day would not be in the medias and placements. It would be on advertisers and campaigns. Because here is where you have your clients. Advertisers could, again, be your internal offers as well. And your campaigns is where you see the campaigns that you're currently running. And so for your advertisers, here I have a list of my clients. again, I have an overview of what's been happening in aggregate, rolling past 30 days. I can also see on individual clients how they are performing. I can also see when I jump into my advertiser, how are their campaigns currently performing? So if I have a performance campaign, I can see that, hey, it's going to run out soon. It's going to be done in a couple of weeks. It's performing really well. Maybe it's time to hit them up for that renewal as well for the ad sales team.
Or change creative, right? Because that's, I think, something that happens in newsletters is you need to pay as much attention to that as you do in display, if not more, right? To pull them in.
For sure. And we have a number of tools there as well when it comes to like automated, A/B testing, where we do sequential A/B testing, right? So we can get really close to, a 50-50 split, or like a 30-30, whatever split you might have. If you have 5 creatives, they get 20% and so on. So that you can also make sure that you do that in real time and go like, we're going to deactivate these ones over here because they're not performing as well as these, creatives over here that we, uploaded at the same time. But so here you have your campaigns. If this advertiser happen to show up and say like, I want to run another campaign with you, I want to book my, October campaign already as well. The way you do that is basically go through this workflow. So you have your October campaign. You want to give it a start and stop date. So we're probably going to run this in October. You want to have them end up on a URL somewhere, right? When they click this campaign. If they have an external campaign tracking pixel, we support that, so they can put that on here as well. And if this is your standard, buying a top slot in the Monday send out, we're done. We can just click save and move to creatives. But if you want to do something else that's utilizing this real-time ad serving in newsletters, you have all the abilities here, right? So you can do based on impressions, you can do based on clicks, you can have pixel load, which would mean that we're tracking something post-click in the newsletter happening on a website, right? So you can actually get like the conversion and figuring out like how well is this converting after they click. So if we do a click campaign, someone might be buying 10,000 clicks off of you at a rate of I don't know what, you get your volume. We can do things like daily click limits manually, setting up like we're not only going to deliver a number of clicks any given day to make sure they get even a steady flow of traffic during the campaign. We can also let the system take care of that for us automatically. So say like we want to front load this, get rid of this ad budget as quickly as possible. We're going to book it into multiple placements and we're going to run it as much as we can, but maybe we want to make sure that people don't see it more than maybe 10 times before we go and show them another ad, right? So that's another one of those like levers you can pull to make sure that you get the most out of the inventory that you have, but also so you can have a very strategic conversation with your either internal stakeholders who are looking to promote an internal event or a subscription product, but also to external advertisers, right? About, well, we want to do this on a performance basis, but we're going to make sure the same person doesn't see this in 3 different placements in the same newsletter and like all across, like whenever they open the newsletter. We're not going to do that. We're going to make sure that this looks still good. They don't get that saturation, right? We also support things like geolocation targeting based on IP. We have device targeting based on the proxies to the email platforms they're using, which is one of those benefits coming from someone working, us working as domain experts here. Like it's something we've invested heavily in to be able to bring something like this to our clients as well, so they can have that conversation with their advertisers as well. And then moving to creatives, here's where you're going to see what we did there with the pre-building of the native ads, right? So if I do creative 1, I can override settings we've already done. If I want to have like, creative 1 is going to run for 1 week and then sequentially creative 2 is going to run the second week, we can do that. We can also leave all of this empty, and we're going to inherit the information that we got from the campaign settings, right? I give it a format, so you can have whatever format you want. We're not bound by any standards. It's really what looks great in your newsletters. But when I look at the formats I have access to here, it's the ones that we've created and have access to on this particular platform for this client account. And then I upload an image. If it's a display ad, I'm done. I click save. and I choose where it's going to run. If it's a native ad, I jump into here. I maybe grab some, text, something like that. And then I get a pre-render of how that's going to look, right? So that's one placement, but I have multiple placements, right? So I can look at like how it's going to run on different placements if I were to run this, as a run of network, right? And this is something that yeah.
Got it. So essentially what I'm seeing you do there is that, again, based on how we've set up those particular placements, you just need those basic assets and it will take care of creating it to make it sure it's going to work in that spot.
Exactly. So you don't have to build it every time. And if you're going to run it in multiple placements, you don't have to go in and like build it over here and then over here and then over here. It's one place. You book it and then you're done.
Interesting. Great.
And so, yeah. And so when I hit save, if I want to do like an A/B split test, I can copy that, make a quick change. And I have my A/B split test, maybe trying different headlines or something like that. But if I'm happy, I just go add campaign bookings. And here I have my priority levels. So again, if you worked in an ad server before, you have your priority levels. Where do I want to put this? And the ad server is going to work, from priority 10 and work its way through, right? And whenever it finds a campaign, it's going to look for all those settings. Is it pacing? Like, is it over pacing? Okay, I'm not going to show that. Has this person seen this ad more than, the 10 times that we set up? Okay, I'm not going to show that. What do I have until it finds something in a priority level where it makes sense to show it to this individual reader at this point in time? And if I have multiple campaigns active on the same priority, it's going to look at what's going to make you the most money at that particular point in time, right? And going to serve that. So this way is where you can also, preserve that space and time buying the top placement for a premium ad dollar by booking like run of network, CPC, and those campaigns on a lower priority, right?
Yeah.
Lastly, if you have first-party data, you can onboard that here as well. So whatever cohorts that you might want to be targeting on top of all the things that we've already done, you can do that here as well. And the last thing that we need to do is really just pick like, where do we want to run these placements? So do we want to run them on all the placements where this format made sense? I just select all, or maybe I just want to run it on my daily newsletter. I can select that, or maybe I want to run it on everything except that, right? And I can do that as well. So that's a simple way to be able to run these campaigns, and also where it then makes sense to become very creative with those house ads, internal events or events and products, because you don't have to go in and have to do it at every newsletter every time you want to do something like that. You can just have those campaigns running over a period of time.
Got it.
Yeah.
Nick, it seems like a lot of flexibility, and again, it's built for the newsletter environment, which I think is so key, is to kind of nail that, to get that down and done well, right? Because I think that's been a limiting factor for publishers in the past who've just, again, hate to use the word hard-coded, but people have hard-coded to other kind of ways to try to work through this. But this seems like, again, between from the A/B testing to the first-party data to the ability to set priority and all those particular things, right? You can really sit there and make sure you can kind of deliver for your advertiser, or build this again into your program in terms of selling membership or e-commerce solutions and so forth. So I think there's a lot that you could do here. Is there anything that kind of left unsaid or unshown at this point, Nick?
So I think we have the you get the general sense of it so far. Obviously, this was a sped up demo to give you, a quick look of most of the pieces in the platform. But yeah, I think, as you said, the key thing here is that it's generally not an either or conversation, but it's the ability to say like, well, you're probably doing something today, but maybe you can do, adding to that to build that commercial depth, so that you are making sure that all of those different things that could be making you money are in the same platform under one roof, and you get that basically revenue optimization to make sure that you get the right offer in front of the right reader at the right time.
Well, there's definitely more to learn from you about this. And so I guess my question is, if someone's watching this, a publisher is thinking about upping their game. I love that idea of, again, that more additive approach. Like, what else can we do? What should they do to learn more about the platform?
Yes, so I would say best thing would probably to send us an email over at sales@passendo.com, and we'll be happy to have a conversation about how you could augment your newsletter strategy.
Nick, thank you so much for your time. This was great.
Hey, thank you so much.